Hello, beautiful. How are you? We are here for another cosmic tea time with myself, Kaitlyn, Psychic Moon Mentor. So excited to chat about the magic of the moon and manifestation. I'm going to have my soul sister, Jillian, on here in a few minutes, and we want to chat with you about moon babies. What are moon babies and how we manifested our moon babies. So Jillian is a soul sister. We are working together and met through a project, Soul Alchemy, which is a beautiful collaborative book project where we are each sharing personal stories and tools about how to transform your life and align with your soul purpose and fulfillment. And let me see if I can add Jillian on here now. So for those of you who may not already know, my name is Kaitlyn. I'm a psychic moon mentor, and I work with women. Hey, here's Jillian.
Hello.
How are you?
I was listening to you. I'm like, yeah, girl, you're setting us up perfectly here. This is amazing.
Yeah. Let me set up. Okay. There we go. Face my camera. I like that view better. Yes. So I'm a psychic moon mentor, and I help women to dive deep into the depths of their soul and align with their light and their purpose. And yes, Jillian, would you like to introduce yourself to our wonderful communities?
Right. Body for inner magic, and most importantly and most pertinent for this conversation is by way of connecting in with cyclicality. For me, I'm obsessed with the moon, like you, Kaitlyn, and the seasonal cycles and the zodiac cycles and our own personal cycles. That's that and work with it. It's so fun and it's life changing too, as you know.
It is so fun. It is so magical. And I'm curious, for those of you watching live or catching the replay, do you follow the phases of the moon? Do you work with the phases of the moon? I don't know about you, Jillian, but the full moon has always been my favorite. It's always been the one that I've always worked with religiously for my rituals, for my releasing. And I love that the stars aligned. And here we are on a full moon and this full moon energy. So what about you? Do you have a favorite?
I have my own energy. That's just so delicious to me. I love the full moon for like that celebration and release component. But you know what I also love, and it took I will say this, my favorite is third quarter moon energy, because it is the time of reaping what you've sown, because the intention that you set, like, you're manifesting some stuff now, but it's also that time, it's like that autumn energy where we can plant new seeds for the next cycle. We don't need that new moon to kickstart us. I love that. It's kind of like, I say this to my clients all the time, but that autumn energy, that third quarter moon is like planting bulbs in the fall time that like they're going to be the first blooms in the spring. To me, that's super exciting. That's like my favorite rocket ship time.
I love it. And you're right. It's like a time to really sort of reap like what you've been sowing, so you're really going to be in that like celebration, and not even necessarily celebration, because I feel like celebration is more like hyped, but you're just like have this peace and fulfillment about I knew this was coming and here it is and I get to enjoy it right now.
Yeah. I both like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, but simultaneously a person. Like I did work, and it's not just that external work, it's that inner work too. So it's like looking over the field and like, of course there's corn that we now get to put in the barn so that we can utilize it over winter. Like, of course this is all happening, and it's still so miraculous. Like the seeds that you planted grew and they became something. It's so miraculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'm curious what moon phase you were born under. I don't know if you know, but sometimes that sort of affects like what we notice or sort of what we're drawn to. It can be interesting to know that.
Born in the gibbous phase, so actually, like, technically right now, like this phase right before the full moon is
Okay.
like this is when I was born, which is interesting because I'm such a doer. I'm such like a big and goer, but working with cyclicality actually helped me personally to soothe a lot of that like burnout, force, external validation seeking way of living. And so I actually find it quite lovely that I was born in a waning phase because I am such a doer. And it's like doing this work has brought me back to that understanding of like, oh yeah, it's the and, it's the both, it's the wax and the wane. What about you? What were you born under?
I was born under a full moon.
Were you?
Yeah.
Baby.
Full moon baby. Yeah, lots of energy. I always feel the energy before. And I'm curious, anyone watching the live or replay, do you sort of pick up on energy sort of before it arrives, whether you're empathic, whether you're psychic, whether you're a spiritual healer? Do you notice that? Because even for like moons and things I notice, but with my clients too, I'll notice I sort of pick up on their energy before the actual session, which is interesting. But
well, and it's cool too. And I don't exactly know the outline of your work because like Kaitlyn said, like we literally just met, and like this is why I joined the book, the co-authored book, Kaitlyn, is because like I was ready to meet new people, expand my connections, expand my reach, and just like serve and love and be together. So like this is lighting me up so much right now. But in terms of that connection into the into clients and whatnot, it's so fun when I work with my clients to be like, hey, have you picked up on the fact that you spiral out under this phase every cycle? Like, this isn't just a thing. You're not losing your mind. You're not self-sabotaging. It's actually the energy that you feel maybe most tender under or most spirally under. I know for me, disseminating moon, I don't know if you have one, but disseminating moon is like, give me all of the blankies and nobody talk to me. And I'm just going to go into my little cocoon. And I really try to set up my business so it's supportive of that. My life, I've got 3 kids, so you can only do so much with that sometimes, but I try to be really conscious of like, I'm just going to be a tearful mess during the disseminating moon, and I need that. That's my cleansing time. So it's fun seeing that for clients. It's fun knowing that for self too.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's why I love teaching. And my program with spiritual entrepreneurs, I outline the phases of the moon, each specific one, the energies that come up, the emotions that come up around that time, tools, reflection questions, specific crystals for each phase. But like you're saying, once you start to pay attention and sort of walk with her through her cycles, you get to see, oh, wait a second. Okay, that's what's happening for me. And you start to realize, like, okay, here I am right now. Okay, I can get through this. This is what's coming.
Yeah, so
But here I am right now.
That's the most optimal form of self-love, is to know yourself well enough and allow yourself to trust yourself through the phases, knowing that it's just a phase, knowing that there will be more energy coming, but like you get to meet your needs, you get to honor yourself in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Jillian said, we met and connected under this beautiful collaboration project, Soul Alchemy, which is a book that will be coming out very soon. So excited. But I love that I connected with Jillian, and she was sharing a little bit about her chapter, and I got pregnant under the moon, and there was, the sort of shift that happened. I'll let you talk about it too. But as I was listening to her story, I'm like, oh my God, like I call my boys, I have 2 boys, I'm like, they're my moon babies, because I was following the phases of the moon, which I had done before, right? Because I started my spiritual awakening in 2017, and the year following in 2018, I started to incorporate with a more spiritual focus in my mentoring and my coaching. But regardless, I'm like, we just got pregnant like instantly, like both times. But it was these manifestation tools and this trusting that I had developed in my own personal practice and following with the moon, which is so fascinating. So can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's really cool that it sounds like our spiritual paths and our connectivity to the moon actually transpired around the same time. So I think that that's really cool to know. And unlike you, though, my story was, so I had I didn't have a natural period for 14 years. And I was told by doctors, never going to happen. Either figure out why or we can get you pregnant. And like, for me, I was like, this was non-spiritual Jillian. This was like force, grind, figure it out, do the thing. And I was like, I don't care why I'm not getting a period. Just get me pregnant. And so thank the goddess for modern medicine and supportive people to help with that. And I also want to say this, every person's journey with fertility is sacred and holy. And I'm holding so much space if this is a tricky conversation to listen to, because I've been there. And so I went through the IUI process, which is the stage right before IVF, with my first two sons. And it didn't work for a little bit until it did. And then I had my oldest son and my middle son. And then when my middle son, so that gives it away that like there is a third child that's coming. But when my littlest at the time, who's now my middle now, was about 1.5 years, I had this moment of like, oh my gosh, I feel broken. Oh my gosh, why? And so I was finally ready to ask why don't I get a period? What's going on? And so unlike you, who was already had a practice with the moon, it was actually that time period which prompted my relationship with the moon. I started going down all of these different healing modality paths, and I'm so grateful for the team that I brought in. But my work was, I read a book, and I was listening to it, and the line was, well, the female cycle is 28 days, and the moon cycle is 28 days. That can't be a coincidence. And I was like, holy heck, what? And so that was what initiated me.
Like, how did no one tell me this? Yeah. Why are we talking about this? Shouldn't all women like know this? Yeah.
Right? It's like one of those like, duh, but like literally we're not raised in a society where that's the focal point. That's the norm, right? That, like, to me, it's like, that's the primal nature of being here and being woman. And like, I don't know if someone forgot to tell me that, right? Like, that's how I felt at the beginning, which is what's informed my work, right? And yours too, I think. So anyways, I started working with the moon cycle. It was the beginning of 2018. On August 8th, 2018, so the Lionsgate portal, I got my first period, my first like natural period. And I thought that was the end of the miracle. And then on July 2nd, the following year, 2019, which 7 + 2 is 9, and now we're 9s, and all of the numbers are like, they're doing their magical.
Oh, I get into that too. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay, I see you. I see that code. Yeah.
So I was pregnant with our third son. So quite literally, I went from not having a period to working with the moon to having a period to getting pregnant to having a third child, which, I mean, that's a very linear way of putting it. And there were lots of this, lots of things. Yeah, like the moon quite literally and energetically, spiritually, emotionally, all the things helped to recalibrate me to just this new awareness and this other field of magic that my baby happened to be living on.
Yeah, and all the emotions that come along with that journey, and as you're witnessing these changes and stepping into this new chapter, it's like you really have to shed, like we shed every month, once a month, you know, these old ways of being. You get to sort of revisit, like, okay, these are some choices I've made. Is it still aligned with me? Do I want to let that go? Is there a grieving process that needs to happen here? And yeah, in my work, I'm here for all of it. Mm-hmm. And for me, at the time, so I was already doing sort of moon rituals, right? And I started leading sacred moon circles, group events held often around the full moon, sometimes the new moon. But at that time, when I first got pregnant with Fox, who I call him my moon baby, he's my birthday baby too, because that's like right when I got pregnant around that time. I was like, okay, we knew we wanted kids. I don't want to wait too long because, I don't know, I want to have them before I'm 30. And now I have 2 boys, both conceived before I was 30. So Fox, so when I was 28, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll start trying when I'm 28. And then it just happened so quickly. I'm like, oh my God, are we ready for this? Oh my, like, all the emotions.
I thought I was.
Like, oh shit, this is happening. Okay. But no, at that time I was leaning more into the full embodiment of this energy, right? Mama Moon, who is nurturing, who can be emotional, who can be a little bit chaotic, who is okay with the subtle energy and the subconscious and your psychic gifts, and let's explore those and let's share those with soul sisters who fucking get it, because they're sensitive too. And so I was really like owning all of this, and I was like, for every area of my life, right, for my clients and for me, just wanting to lean into joy and happiness and health. And so I was having like dance parties and like getting ready before I would take action for something, right? Becoming that energetic match for something, to give it space to come in and attract it in. And and slowing down more. Because similar to you, it was like, I don't know, growing up, I was always more of like a tomboy and like I'm not that into makeup. I don't know how I feel about girls. Like, it's hard to make friends with girls and blah, blah, blah. All these like stories, like putting women down, which we could go into a whole nother live about that.
We could be here for 4 hours talking, not skip a beat.
Yeah. But yeah, healing that and nurturing myself and slowing down, and stuff just started happening more quickly. Getting clients, stepping into my gifts and my passion more, stopping working for other people, and my beautiful moon baby fox came along.
Amazing. What is your favorite type of ritual, or what's your favorite thing to do to like nod to Mama Moon up there? What do you do personally for yourself?
Yeah, well, my typical ritual would be like going outside, just witnessing her beauty, kind of intentionally. I don't necessarily say it out loud, but intentionally I call down her energy. I try to tune into the light, washing down over my crown chakra and down into my chakras. And for both the major phases, full and new, like I allow a release to happen first, right? I'm calling it out, clearing it out. And if you've never worked with the goddess Kali, or Kali Ma, I highly encourage you to research her a little bit. She's the dark mother, but she is so powerful. If you want to transform your life, she will help you do it. She will let you know where your shadows are and what is blocking you from your manifestation. So lead with caution, but I always work with her. She's a beautiful, powerful goddess who can seem like scary if you don't know a lot about her, but she works with these darker emotions of destruction and anger, and I felt those a lot of my life before I had my spiritual awakening. So I was like, okay, how can I move this energy? How can I utilize it? So I love working with her. And then usually I'll find a movement practice, whether that's a simple breath work or like a gentle yoga or something, writing down, usually often when I'm releasing, reflecting a little bit on, okay, this didn't go so well, I'm ready to let go of that. And then burning that, always burning that, releasing it, sending it to the ethers, back to Mother Earth, right? And then I end with gratitude, usually.
So beautiful. Yeah, it's incredible to be able to like sink into your own practice and to know that like that's where it starts. That's the spark, and then it gets to inform other areas of life, whether or not you have a business or relationships or experiences. Like just knowing that it's all so intertwined and it's so connected, and it's like the energy is always there. It's always available for you. But when you sink into it and you claim it for your own and you just decide to play with it, right? Like it doesn't have to be so serious. It can be playful and lovely. And the times where you're meant to go in, you get to go in. But can we have a freaking fun time doing it too, right? Like sometimes this work feels like it needs to be so heavy, so hard. And like, yeah, there are those moments, but like also, what if we remembered to play with it? What if we remembered to have a freaking good time with it? Because actually when we're choosing that playfulness and we're sinking into the energy that's available, we're creating something new. We're creating something more vibrant. We're creating that magnetism point, and that's just fun.
I love that you said that, because yes, and it's like play. Just do it because you want to do it, and like see what happens, and do it in your own style. Like you don't have to research and do this like ritual and, oh, did I do it right? Like, no, what do you want to do? do that. And your intention is what's most important, right? Oh, I want to connect with the moon. Okay, and what does that mean for me? And let your curiosity lead the way. But yeah, be in that playful energy. I love that you said that, because that alone will help you manifest.
Totally.
Like, you don't have to go into all of this like detail with the moon and the energy of each phase. You can, and if you want to, I will help you. But just play.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love that you said intention and curiosity, right? And just like knowing what the intention of your heart is. A lot of my soulmate clients, a lot of the women that I work with struggle to really sit and answer the question, what do I want? Right? Because you've been told for so long you can't have what you want, or you need to, you know, come back into reality, or the focus has been on so much on giving to other people what they want, and there's no space left for you, right? Like you said earlier, like all of the stories. And so when you do have that, the ability and like the wanting and the bravery to really sit and ask yourself that question and not let it be a world-changing phenomenon, right? Sometimes when I ask my clients, like, well, what do you want? The underlying fear is that they can't have it. But then like a secondary fear that I've noticed has popped up is, but if I claim what I want, I have to do something about it. And that's not necessarily true. As long as you have the awareness of what you want, then you're calling yourself into discernment. Then you're calling yourself into like free will activation, and then you can set some intentions. You don't have to change your whole life, and you can want 10 things and take action maybe on one of them. It doesn't have to be a cataclysmic event, but just that witnessing of like, how can I allow myself to get curious about what I want? How can I allow myself to feel safe with claiming what I want, and then take action as I choose, right? But I think the moon is so beautiful and wonderful to work with, because she's the reflection to us of our emotion. And when we can allow ourselves to get honest with our emotions and then work with the moon and take the pressure off, it just makes it, I think, a little bit more playful, but B, for me personally, it gives me that remembrance and that connection. It's not just out here. Like, I am actually universally and divinely guided. And like, I've got support. I've got energetic support. And I mean, the moon's just so freaking lovely. So knowing that like Mama Moon is there on my side, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, and those of you who've been manifesting for a while, like, you know, feelings are powerful. Feelings help you manifest, right? So if you know this, if you're a manifestation babe, drop in the comments, my feelings are powerful. Like, I want to hear you. I want to hear you claim it. I want to hear you own it. My feelings are powerful. And it's really powerful to be in that play and what's fun, right? Like Jillian's saying, and like, take the pressure off. Like, what would be fun right now? And sometimes it's like, oh, I want to go for a walk. And you're right. Like, I try to help my clients do, like, let it be simple. Like, it can be the simplest thing. What's your favorite beverage? What's your favorite tea to drink? Like, drink that, but like, freaking enjoy it when you do, you know? Like, it's the feeling of it. Come on.
Yes. Oh my goodness. What else? Anything else? I loved your story about Fox. It's so amazing.
Yes, yeah. No, I was just going to ask you about Soul Alchemy and, you know, this beautiful collaborative book project, which anyone who's ready to transform and dive into the depths and connect more with the spiritual practice and transform their life and manifest, like, keep your eyes peeled and posted for when this project comes out. But I want to ask you, Jillian, what do you hope that people take away from this project or your chapter in Soul Alchemy?
Okay. I'll start with my chapter, because what I actually hope the most is bigger than it, but it is an important component. I hope that you take away that you are a cyclical, magical being. And however you want to access that and work with that is so divinely set and available for you. And working with the moon will help you tap into layers and aspects of yourself than you've ever probably imagined before. And I walk you through it. We go deep into the phases and I share my story, and it's just that connectivity. But that's what brings me to the overarching umbrella. Like, think about it. There are 12 powerful, magical women who are actually women, right? Like, you and I, we have our own struggles. We have our own lives. We have our own moments, right? Like, we're not some like like whimsical witches that like nothing goes bad for, right? Like we are people showing up and sharing aspects of ourselves and our stories and what we've learned in hopes that it helps, in hopes that it provides solace, in hopes that it provides inspiration. And there's 12 of us doing that with our different energies. Like we believe in our own individual work so much, and we believe in the collective work of that connectivity to the divine, to each other, to ourselves. And we showed up for each other and for everybody in this book. There are 12 of us. Like that is freaking profound to me, that this group of women, a very powerful, very smart, very kind, very intuitive, very like soul-led, heart-based group of women said yes to this project because we believe that together we are greater than each individual, right? Like there's a new essence, there's a new energy and a new magic that is formed when women come together in circle. And to me, I'm so freaking obsessed with women circles and moon circles, and like getting together and like having that exchange and having that connectivity. Like, and we get to do that in book form. Like how lucky are we? And also how lucky are the women that will read it, the people that will read it. Like what a gift. Sorry, that was a little verbose, but
no, that's perfect. I'm like, oh, I resonate with this like so deeply. Like, yes, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, and with my chapter, it's like, I know what it's like to be lost in the darkness. I know what it's like to be caught in a cycle and you're just like down and just, I know what that's like. And I share my story of how I stepped out of that and how I was leaning more into my purpose and my passions, and then I got fired for the first time in my life. And I had the choice. I had the choice to go back and repeat and do and force and do what I knew, what was comfortable, or practice faith and rest more and play more and follow my curiosity and like literally go have fun. Because I got fired, but I had a girlfriend trip coming, and I was like, I don't have money coming in. Should I cancel the trip? And I was like, fuck no. Like, I studied abroad with these girls. I want to connect with them. It's going to work out. I'm going to find my job. And I did. So I want people to know that I know what it's like to be caught in that darkness, and hopefully give one option of perhaps how you can start to shift out of that and how you can shine your light, and how really diving into connecting with your power and remembering what is pleasurable for you, like, will change your life. So I hope that people connect with it. I hope that they connect with all of the beautiful stories in there in their own way to make whatever change it is that they want in their life, so they can step more fully into joy, into pleasure, into their purpose. Because I know that anyone who picks up this book is going to change the world. They're going to have a huge heart. They're going to want to help other people and serve. And I hope that this project helps them step into that more fully.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, sister. I love it. Yes. All right, anyone who was from my side of the internet vortex, please go follow Kaitlyn and love on her and support her in her journey as she shares more about soul alchemy and connect. I hope you connect in. And I am so excited to meet anybody who has been in Kaitlyn's side of the internet, and just to be in this space where like sisterhood comes together. Like when our circles come together, we create a bigger circle, a bigger and also tighter at the same time, like a more intimate and more connective opportunity for women everywhere. So thank you for having me on this.
Yeah, thank you for chatting with me. And where can people find you, and how can they work with you?
Right here on Instagram. I love hanging out here. And Kaitlyn, when you share this, tag me as a collaborator, I think, and then it'll go on both of our feeds.
Perfect.
Website is jillianbolanz.com. I have 2 very amazing coaching programs that I would love to have conversations with people about to really help them discern what are you looking for, and like here's the menu of this one and here's the menu of this one. And then personally, if you're looking to travel and get together in person with people, I have an event coming up in May called True You Live. It is it's day and a half event, May 20th and 21st. Super transformative. This is a self-discovery, women's empowerment, connecting into all things energy, all things your truth, your intuition. The underlying theme is intuition alive. So there's going to be a lot of activation, and whether you've been on your spiritual journey for 8 seconds or 800 years, you will be moved by this event, and you will be met exactly where you are in a very deep and personal way. So thank you for asking. And tickets can be found at trueyoulive.com for that.
Yes, go follow Jillian. And if you want to connect more deeply with other women who get this energy that we're talking about, go to that event. And for those who don't know, you can find me here and on Facebook under Psychic Moon Mentor. And I'm super excited to launch a own mastermind, which we start 3/21/23 at the solstice. And it's all about owning your energy and owning your light and these balance, right? Because the moon is about walking the middle path. It's this balance of taking practical action, but really diving more deeply into the spiritual journey and listening to your intuition and attracting things to you, letting yourself receive, quite frankly, just because it feels good. So there's 11 spots available in the OWN Mastermind. So if you're curious about that, drop a moon in the comments, or you can DM me.
Yeah. Look at us creating magical spaces to be able to support other women that are ready for it. It's so fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for everything today, Kaitlyn. You're magical. And thank you to everybody who watched this.
Thank you so much. Happy moon manifesting, everyone.
Bye, loves.
Bye.